What is up, guys? Jetzu here, and today I wanted to go ahead and bring you guys the discussion video talking about Game of Thrones. Would that be a good Total War game? And the reason I'm bringing this is because I just made the video Game of Thrones versus Lord of the Rings, and I had a lot of fun making the video. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys on the comment section on that video, and I love both of those fantasy series. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of lean toward this way. You guys know I'm already making videos talking about the possibility of the next historical Total War. A Total War set in the World War One, a Total War set in China, but I'm kind of also wanting to talk about the prospect of them going into a different fantasy genre. And I know there's a whole bunch of different things that has to go into it, licensing and things like that, them getting permission, and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not exactly 100% sure. I really couldn't find the video, but I thought that in one of the videos, in one of the Wood Elf videos, I heard them say in one of the interviews that they, when they were interviewing the devs for the Wood Elves DLCs, that they were looking into, they were going to expand their horizons when it came to what types of titles they would handle next. I couldn't find the video, so I can't cite it. I apologize if you guys kind of have heard it or know what I'm talking about. I know it's a little tidbit of information. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Wood Elf interview videos right before the Wood Elves came out. So if you guys find it, let me know. But I'm pretty sure it was there. Either way, this is gonna be a fun video talking about whether or not Game of Thrones would be a good Total War game. And for me, it was kind of difficult because there is a Game of Thrones mod for Medieval 2, and I haven't yet to play it because I didn't think it was going to be that much fun. I do have Third Age, which is a lot of fun, and I thought Third Age was worth playing because it has the different races. It has a familiar map that I'm really familiar with. Game of Thrones has a familiar map in some sense because I've been watching the show throughout all its seasons up until the latest season, but at the same time, I don't know like all the little tiny tidbits of areas because I was way more into Lord of the Rings back in the day, and I'm not that much into Game of Thrones where I'm gonna be able to cite everything. But also the thing was the reason I didn't play that mod was because with Game of Thrones you have basically humans fighting humans throughout the entire thing, and I kind of wanted to lean. If I was gonna play a fantasy game, I would want to have different races such as Warhammer and Lord of the Rings. But now that I've delved into more of Game of Thrones, and I've seen, and that was a long time ago when I made those deductions, when I made that consensus. That was a while back, and so now I have a different feeling on it, I had different thoughts on it, and I do think that Total War, if in a Game of Thrones sense, would be very entertaining, depending on where you put it. Now, if you put it the game set before the series, the actual series of Game of Thrones, and then right where the Targaryens are ruling with their dragons, that would be, and then there's still a huge war. That would also be a fun, interesting era, especially since you can have some dragon units in there. But if you want to keep it in the Game of Thrones sense, you can still have it. But the thing is, the reason that it is also that I thought that it wasn't, it wouldn't be that much of a fun Total War game was because in the series itself, there really is only like a handful of large-scale battles. For the most part, it's a very political type of game. It's a political type of game for the throne. It's a political series, and so there's a lot of different backstories and different things and different backstabbings and stuff like that goes into that. So if there is a Total War game, say Total War decided to make a Game of Thrones game, I think that it'd have to be probably one of the most diplomatic Total War games that they've ever come up with. You'd have to have a bunch of different options, and I've been saying this, I've been ranting on this for Total War for a while now, because even in Total War Warhammer, I wanted them to have an extensive amount of diplomacy, and I know the game is called Total War, it's not called Diplomacy Warhammer or whatever, but I do want some diplomacy, a good amount of diplomacy in the games. That's what makes it fun for me, and that's the reason that I really like the Civilization games. I know a couple of you guys have mentioned Europa Universalis, which I never really played, but I know that has a really strong, because I've watched videos on it, I know it has a really strong diplomatic system. So I've been wanting them to throw that into a Total War game, and they have disappointed me since, I would say, probably, I don't even know, Empire days, maybe even probably before that. Rome 1 had more diplomacy than most of the Total War games after it, so did Medieval 2. So I feel they can just add more diplomatic options. That's probably the one of the main focuses of Game of Thrones. As for, I guess, different types of factions, of course you would have to be with Daenerys Targaryen. That would be one of the factions, and the Unsullied, and her kingdoms over there. And then you would have to have the Seven Kingdoms, the Lannisters, the Starks. You would have to have all of them in the game. And I think that if they go down the route like they've said that each Total War game is going to have each faction try to have them completely different than the other factions, just like they have in Warhammer, have a different type of playstyle, then I think that it would be easier to do it in a Game of Thrones game, even though they're all humans, because it seems like they have different philosophies, they all fight a little bit differently, they have different ways of doing things, so I think it would be a lot easier to do that. I feel like Endgame would be probably, I wouldn't want Daenerys's dragons and army to be Endgame. I feel like that would be a pretty cool faction to play on herself. I also think that would be really cool to play as her as a faction leader. I am a big fanboy of hers, so yeah, I would definitely love her to be in the game. But I think that the end game would definitely be Winter is Coming, the White Walkers. If you want to add you being able to control them, like the I'm not exactly sure if it's called the White King or whatever, but the main White Walker dude, the one that is leading the invasion, that would be pretty cool too. Just kind of like the Chaos, you being able to control them, and they have an end game also, so you can have them as a playable faction as well. And even if you're not playing as them, they can have a huge unrelenting stack of White Walkers that are heading south. Now, I'm not sure exactly because I haven't read the books, and I haven't finished the ending of Game of Thrones, but because it hasn't come out yet. But I'm not sure if winter also comes with the White Walkers. Say it starts getting colder the farther south they go. Because I'm not sure, like, how do they survive in southern temperatures, like when it's hot and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to be doing that in the next couple seasons, but they are coming, and that'd be a really cool aspect to have into the game. Dragons would be easy. We already have similar things in Warhammer, but yeah, those are just some of my thoughts for this. I'm gonna have more videos on this. I'll probably have a top 5 on this as well, and then I'm also definitely 100% gonna go into Lord of the Rings, and maybe even Warcraft. I'm not exactly sure. Definitely Warhammer 40k. I'm going to have these kind of videos, so I'm having a lot of fun doing these sort of idea videos. And let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you guys think about this idea, and what kind of Total War fantasy style games would you like to see next. Again, none of this is confirmed. I just thought that I heard something about them focusing on other titles besides the Warhammer title. I thought that I had heard something like that, but I'm not 100% sure, guys. Let's see if we can get over 50 likes for this video. The likes really help my channel a lot, guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to Jetzu. This is going to be Jetzu signing off.